Hey guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show for Friday, May 31st, 2019. Welcome to another eBay video. Today we're going to be discussing a little bit more about how eBay collects sales tax for you guys. We're going to discuss what I thought was a glitch with packing slips, but is actually a change in the format by eBay. We're going to discuss some selling tips, your comments, questions, and concerns from last week's video, and those kind of things. So let's get right into it. I'm going to start off by pointing out that, as usual, it is cloudy and rainy. We do not get any sunny days. However, earlier this week we actually had 2 sunny days, Sunday and Monday. The holiday was actually sunny and nice, although we did have thunder showers later in the day. And we have thunder showers predicted later today too. So let's get this video in the can before we get wet. On returns, Mary Jones wrote, Joe, I received an item after return was closed. I marked the box as return to sender. That's something I've never done. Usually when I receive an item after the return has been closed, I wait and I do nothing and I see what's going to happen from there. On non-paying buyers, I gotta move this underneath, it's raining out now. See that? We had about 2 minutes of dry weather. On non-paying buyers, Create and Adorn wrote, Hi Joe, I'm gonna leave 2 comments about this week's show. First is the shorter one about buyers not paying. eBay is the only platform that does not require immediate payment for best offers or auctions. It's ridiculous. It's completely possible for them to keep in charge of the buyer's card immediately when they accept the offer or buy, because every other platform manages to figure it out. Etsy, Poshmark, Mercari, Amazon, etc. With all the man hours it takes to deal with non-paying buyers, you would think eBay would save money changing this and making sellers very happy at the same time. The only buyers that would be upset would be the fitchy ones. And I agree. I would really love to see immediate payment required on all best offers that have been accepted, and even on all winning bids in the auction format as well. Create and Adorn also wrote a comment about buyers abusing the eBay contact system, which is something I talked about last week. As far as abusive buyers, I sell mostly high-end clothing without free shipping or returns. I took a $50 offer on a formal dress I had listed for $65 that had an original retail of $450. After the buyer had it about 2 weeks, she requested a return with the reason the event she bought it for got canceled. I accepted the return because she was responsible for return shipping. After another week, she sent me a message saying she put the dress back in the package and wrote return to sender on it. I told her that's not how returns work, and since she had already opened the return, I didn't know if the tracking would work properly. She just demanded I refund her when I received it back, which I would have, but at the 31-day mark I had not received it back yet, and she had left me my first and only negative feedback since then, saying how rude I was. So I called eBay. It obviously showed I had not received the item back, so they closed the return in my favor and removed the neg, so I'm back to 100%. However, for the next 2 hours, she sent me message after message saying I was a thief, to give her back her money, blah blah blah. I blocked her as a buyer, but the nasty messages kept coming until I found out you have to go into your settings to block receiving messages from blocked buyers. I had even suggested to her to call eBay and they might refund her anyway, only because they try to keep customers happy. But after sending me a dozen hateful messages, I doubt they would have. Sorry this was so long. Thank you, Joe, for all the awesome videos. Vicky. Abusing the contact system is a very serious thing in my opinion. I talked about this last week. I was surprised at how many of you guys also have been abused in the eBay contact system, and I really think eBay should pursue this. I'm going to read a couple more of those comments as we go along, and I'm going to tell you something else as we go. Crosswalk Larry wrote on Office to Watches, I've been noticing a lot more watches on my items and getting offers via messages, but not a lot of luck getting people to buy after an offer is sent. I totally agree with them. Totally. I've had no luck sending offers to watches and eBay motors. However, people in toys and collectibles are doing great with it. So, like I always say, do what works for you. But as for me, I'm done. I will never send another offer to a watcher in eBay motors. It's just time wasted. My so-called life wrote in about cancellations. I never used to get requests to cancels after a buyer paid. Like maybe 2 a year, so I was actually happy when PayPal said they were going to start keeping their fee on refunds. Once that announcement was made, it seems buyers just started screwing with sellers. I've had 5 in the last couple of months. One last weekend wasn't even nice about it, so I shipped it and told him he can pay to return it if he doesn't want it. I would like to know more about that in my so-called life. Let me know how that transaction pans out if he ships it back. On cancellations again, Ohioville Consignment wrote, Joe, I don't know if you remember me. We had breakfast together at the buffet last year in Vegas. Great memory. It was a pleasure meeting you in person. I never agree to cancel a sale just as policy. Make them take an unpaid item strike. eBay lets us ban buyers if they have 2 unpaid item strikes, so I try to make sure they get one. I never agree to cancel just as a policy. If all of us as sellers ban people with 2 unpaid item strikes and never agree to cancel a sale, these errant abusive buyers will get weeded off the site naturally. Good riddance. We don't want their business anyway. Like you said, for an auction they waste a ton of time. I'll have buyers message me sometimes and say they want it, let me bid, I have some unpaid item strikes. I say to myself, if you've had 2 unpaid item strikes in 6 months, you're not the kind of buyer I want anyway. Now, as far as unpaid item strikes, those can only be issued out when a person does not pay for an item in auction format. However, with my items, I'm selling in the fixed price format. So if I have an item, let's say a person buys it for $20 and then 5 minutes later wants to cancel, there is no way that buyer is getting an unpaid item strike. It's not set up that way. On Abusive Buyers, Sync Run wrote, Hi Joe, I just had a lady give me a hard time about an item price and shipping. She was very rude and nasty. I did not know eBay would do anything, and that's great you let us know that. I think I will turn her in now, as it was just last week. Then the same exact item sold a few days later, and a guy wanted to cancel the sale right after buying it because he paid with his checking through PayPal and wanted to use his balance. This was a guy with 3,000 plus feedbacks. Also on Abusive Buyers, 2000 Viper GTS wrote, Joe, I had a buyer abuse me from the eBay system. I called eBay and eBay agreed and sent him a message. The buyer did it again, and the next day F-bombed me, called eBay, and they said they would deal with it. The buyer had a 0 feedback and he's still on eBay. I have 0 faith in eBay doing anything with going against the customer except lip service. I also agree about report a buyer doing nothing too, and been on eBay since the late 90s. Our days of eBay are winding down and selling off our inventory, as well as invested more monies in our own website. As far as eBay doing anything to abusive buyers, here's my take on it. I always call up and report abusive buyers. You know that. I'm not taking any crap. And I believe that in most cases, eBay will send a warning notice to the abusive buyer telling them to stop. I know this because just like 2000 Viper GTS says, years ago I had one that abused me, and I turned him into eBay, and they did send him a warning letter, and the abusive buyer came after me again, still attacking me and telling me that he received the warning letter. So I do believe that eBay sends the warning letters, but I sadly do not believe they do anything other than that. I don't think they're weeding any of these abusive buyers off the site. Now, there is talk this summer that eBay is going to make some new announcements and possibly some new changes in that regard. And we'll see what happens, when it happens, and if it happens. But as for right now, this is the status quo. Candle Hoarder wrote in about the weather. I thought I'd mention that despite your chronic, despicable-ish weather, the bird sound in the background is just lovely. They must enjoy it regardless. Happy weekend. Well, you can hear the birds probably in the background right now. And yeah, we still have nothing but clouds and rain, and this is going to continue for a while. I don't think I've ever seen months and months of the same weather like this. It's just pathetic. A channel comment from BizHacks. Thanks for your eBay videos. Joe has over 3 million views, 15,000 subs. You cannot get eBay updates like this anywhere else. Thank you for the upsell there, good sir. And for those of you who do not know who BizHacks is, he does a series of Cobra Kai videos. So if any of you guys are interested in the Cobra Kai show, which I believe is a pay service on YouTube, but I'm not 100% sure, you might want to check out his videos because he puts out some good content on them. The last comment I'm going to read today is about abusive messages, and it's from E. Dennis. Yes, Joe, I've had people send me abusive messages like yours through the system. And get this, usually from competitors. Why is it any of their business if I charge more than they do? You would think they'd be glad. For one thing, higher prices on luxury goods give these items a higher perceived value. So it increases the value of all of our inventory. For another thing, people looking for a bargain are going to buy theirs first. So what's the beef? I've never been able to understand. I agree with you. Only once did I have a competitor harass me on eBay, once in over 20 years. I'm going to tell you about that story. I've told it before a few times. I'm going to tell you about it now because I think it's funny and I think you'll enjoy it. But before I tell you that story, we're going to have our first drink from the Fox News Cup of Life. And like I always say, this is the Fox News Cup of Life. Happy is he who drinks from it. Ding-a-ling-a-ling. All right, so this story goes back to the old days of eBay, the eBay Wild West. Let's say from 99 to 2003 or 4. So back then, you could search your competition out and see what they were bidding on. So if your competition's name was John Smith 25, all you had to do is a search for the name John Smith 25, and you could see all the items this guy was bidding on. So I knew who my competition was. And these guys would spend countless hours searching eBay for the best deals. What I would do is I would just pop in periodically and search out my competition and see what they were bidding on and put those items in my watch list. At the very last minute, I would come in and snipe the items. So there was this one guy, and let's call him John Smith 25, and this guy, I just don't get him. He must have this space for rent. He would find a good item on eBay where we could make money, and he would bid on it the very first day it was listed. There is no reason he should ever have done that, and he was doing it repeatedly. All he should have done was put it in his watch list, like I do, and then snipe it at the very end, or as close as he can come to the end. So repeatedly, I would just mac this guy. I would watch everything he was bidding on, and at the last second, shoot right in. And it would work. I was doing good. So I was actually semi-friendly with this guy. And he would call me periodically, and we would discuss business. And I told him up front, I said, listen, you shouldn't be bidding the very first day, because as long as you keep doing it, I'm going to keep macking you, and I'm going to watch all the hot stuff you're bidding on, and at the very end, I'm going to snipe him. And he's laughing like it's a big joke. He said, I vividly remember this. I said, stop it. I said, you're giving away your hand. All you have to do is put them in your watch list like I do. I said, search my name, my user ID. You won't see anything that I'm bidding on because I wait to the very end. I was trying to help the guy, believe it or not. But he wouldn't change his ways. He kept bidding the very first day, and I kept sniping. And we kept at it. All of a sudden, one day, he wrote to me this really abusive message through the eBay contact system. cursed the crap out of me, like you wouldn't believe. I did not report him to eBay. I kind of felt sorry for the guy. But soon after that, eBay changed the policy where you can no longer check on what somebody is bidding on like that. That's why they disguised what everybody's bidding on. But I found it a very useful tool in the old days. And I told the guy, don't do it, but he kept doing it anyway. So yeah. All right, we got to do some cutaways now. I want to discuss eBay collecting sales tax on your behalf, and I also want to discuss what I thought was a glitch, but in fact is a new eBay procedure. So let's do the cutaway, which is going to cover both these topics. Then we'll come back and we'll discuss it. Okay guys, in this cutaway I want to cover 2 points. I want to cover sales tax and a glitch. So let's get started with sales tax first. Here is a packing slip that I printed the other day. You can see that eBay breaks down the prices and itemizes them for you. For instance, the item itself was $45. The shipping and handling the customer paid was $15, and the sales tax was $6.06. Now eBay collects the sales tax and will remit it directly to the state of Washington right here, and you do not have to do any other work. eBay handles all this for you, and that is very, very time saving on their part, so that helps us out a lot. Now let's take a look at a glitch with packing slips. This is the way a packing slip is supposed to work with everything itemized for you and your customer. Let's see what's happening right now. Take a look at this one. There is no breakdown of the price whatsoever. Nothing. This has been going on for at least 5 days that I know of. And I posted this in one of the Facebook groups, and it's affecting a lot of people. So if you guys have encountered this or wish to talk about it, please say so in the comments section below. I find this very aggravating. The workaround that I've been doing for this is I've been printing a packing slip from PayPal where they're itemizing everything. But hopefully eBay will get this glitch fixed soon. Let's get back to the video. Alright, as far as the sales tax, like I said last week, I consider this very good news. eBay is collecting the sales tax. You don't have to do anything. eBay is remitting it to the states in question. And like in my case, I showed you eBay was sending the sales tax to Washington State. It's cut and dry. But now here's where there is a bit of an issue. I showed you a copy of the packing slip that broke everything down. The item price, the shipping price, the sales tax, the total. This is great for record keeping. What I would do is I would print 2 copies out, send one to the customer, and keep the other for my records. But in the second part of the cutaway, you saw where eBay is no longer disclosing the item price, the shipping, the sales tax, or the total in the packing slip. eBay has stated that they're trying this out and they're going to try and keep this format. Myself and some other sellers are trying to speak up and start a grassroots movement to stop this at once. So if any of you guys feel, like I do and like many of my friends do, that eBay should continue displaying the value of the item, the shipping, the sales tax, and the total on the packing slip, please contact eBay for Business through Facebook and tell them how you feel. Because I do think that if more of us speak up, we will be heard and they will go back to the original system. What I have to do right now, if I want to show the itemized price and everything, is I have to actually then log on to PayPal and print a packing slip through PayPal. It's time consuming, it's more work, and it shouldn't have to be done. So guys, please join the grassroots movement. Contact eBay for Business through Facebook, and hopefully they will see it our way and go back to the old system, which I think is a very good system. Now I have a comment I'm going to read that comes from a post in Facebook. I read this post the other day on Facebook. A longtime eBay seller who says he has about 6,000 items, was complaining that he's very slow on eBay, and he called eBay customer service and complained. And he said, is there any reason why I'm so slow? I'm not making any money. And he had a long talk with the eBay representative, and the eBay representative gave him a list of things that he stated would help him with his eBay sales. I'm going to read them to you now because you may find this helpful. Number 1, end and relist any stale listings that haven't sold in 12 months or more. eBay keeps a percentage of how many stale to popular items you have, and the higher the amount of stale listings, the more they will suppress you as a seller. Number 2, offer free shipping and 30-day returns. Even though it hurts us in the short run, and buyers will abuse the return policy, eBay says they favor those sellers that have these features. Excuse me, I need another drink. My sales are very, very good. I'm very pleased and very happy. I offer 30-day returns, no questions asked, but I do not offer free returns or free shipping, and I'm not going. Number 3, new items and sellers that are consistently adding new items will always get a bump. eBay wants to keep things fresh, so if they see you're consistently adding new content, they will bump your listings. That makes sense. Number 4, use as much of the title as you can, but don't fill it with crap words like new, rare, cheap, look, etc., as that will actually hurt you more than help. Also use caps for the first letter of each word, but no words in all caps, and certainly no full titles in all caps. Truthfully, I only capitalize the first letter of all of my listings, and I've had no problems. Number 5, add as many pictures as you can. eBay bumps the items with multiple pictures, so the more you add, the higher your listing will go. That sounds reasonable. I always try and add as many pictures as I can. The minimum eBay recommends is 4 pictures. The next item would be number 6. Use item specifics. eBay added this and pushes this as their way to build a catalog and complete directory with Amazon. The more info you add there, especially if it has a UPC, the better. I agree with them. Often, I'll have an item with a part number on the back, and I'm not 100% sure what the application is. So what I'll do is I'll Google the part number, and you have no idea how many times the part number will bounce me right back to eBay where I see another seller has the same item for sale. So I do definitely agree. Item specifics, add them when you can. And the last point is number 7. Obviously, according to my rep, things like offering free returns, having top-rated status, keeping all your seller metrics in line, and promoted listings will bump you up too. Yes, I'm a big fan of promoted listings. I'm also a fan of sales with Markdown Manager. Those are 2 of my favorite eBay features. My 2 least favorite would be sending offers to watches, because it just doesn't work for me. And also, of course, offering free returns, because that's definitely not happening. Definitely not happening, guys. So that being said, I think we've basically covered everything I want to talk about. So, that being said, please keep in mind the following things. I'm Crazy New York Driver, and you're not. Thanks for watching this video. Each week I come out here and I make these videos to try and help you be successful on eBay. If you think I did a good job this week, please leave me a thumbs up. It tells me I'm appreciated and on point. If you don't think I did a good job, tell me in the comment section below what you want me to hit up next week, and I'll be glad to do it. Remember that I'm a seller friend, not a seller critic or skeptic of any kind. I've solved a lot of problems. I'm still making money online. I've never worn a mask. Some say I could be a CEO or a CFO. So yeah, once again, thanks for watching. Again, any comments on any of the eBay topics or any new topics, comment them below. One thing I can assure you of is when I make next week's video, it's going to be cloudy and rainy. we haven't gotten anything else. That being said, I'd like you guys to go out there, make a lot of eBay sales, rock on, and peace! Yeah! Time for drink number 3, so I can enunciate what I have to say with alacrity and clarity. I'm going to close this video with those 3 words you all love so very much. Those 3 words are, don't be fitchy! Yeah! Peace!